Happy Stash Bust September, y'all. So, if you're new to my channel, my name is Allie, and I am the maker behind Crochet in the Mud, where I do both crochet plushies as well as pottery. And I'm sure a lot of us are in the same boat. With the Joann closure, we all shopped a lot of yarn, which then means we have more yarn than we're used to and a huge overflow. So typically when September rolls around, I am like, I don't need to participate in Stash Bust September. I'm always good on yarn. Like, I try not to overflow this shelf. Typically this shelf is, if there's room on there, I can get more yarn. But that has not been the case this year. So let's do something about it. I will put a caveat though, that white yarn is going to be my exception. So I'm not allowed to buy yarn this month, but I'm allowed to buy white. The reason I say this is because I have 3.5 skeins of white, which sounds like a lot, except when you consider the fact that we are going into spooky season, so I need to make ghosts. I also need to restock cats. I need to restock chickens. There's a lot of things on my list that involve white. And that's going to be the only thing I'll make an exception for, so I don't have to sacrifice on not having white. Like, I need to have my ghosts for my September, October markets. So I think I'm going to do just kind of like mini vlogs this month instead of like one big video, or I thought about doing a how much yarn can I use in 1 month video, which I've done in the past. Feel free to check them out if you'd like. They don't do very well on my channel, so I don't think people will care for them. But I am going to keep track of how much yarn I use. So not like video it, but I'll have a spreadsheet to know how much yarn I used, and then we can still go over like the ending, kind of like I do in those videos, but not necessarily film the whole month of yarn I finish. But instead I'll do mini vlogs. So this will be the first one, part 1, of trying to go through my stash. So please ignore how messy the room is. That's kind of why we're doing this. So I'm going to show you what my yarn stash looks like. It's never been this bad before. So, I mean, it's organized-ish. My problem is just that I tend to use this yarn, and all of the yarn that is overflowed in boxes and stuff are the yarn that I don't care for, and that's what we need to focus on using. So we also have a giant box. If you've ever bought the 20-pound box of polyfill stuffing, that is what I'm using for my overflow Bernat blanket, and it is overflowing. So lots of yarn, but I will show you what I've got. Today is September 1st, so we'll see how many days this vlog covers. I don't fully have a plan, but I do have a market coming up in 2 weeks, so there's a lot to make and a lot of yarn to get through. So I'll show you my stash. Over here is our Bernat blanket. I do have another skein of white. It's just in the car. But the shelf should have one of each color on it, theoretically. That's what I at least tried to do. So I'll do my Bernat blanket first, so you can kind of see what we're looking like. And then that is Chenille Basics, and that one is Big Twist Plush. That's why those whites are over here. But down here is my Posh, and there's a little bit of Baby Bear in there as well, but it doesn't even fit on the shelf. So then over here, these are the, I'm convinced they're dupes and not actual remakes, but the Posh Pearl and the Cozy Cub to try out. I haven't yet tried them out. I bought Kayla's Naughty Ball yarn to try as a dupe for Posh, but haven't yet used it. And then down here is my temperature snake that I haven't touched in a long time. Over here in this box, it seems to be mostly velvet. These two are Posh. I just need to put them away. I've got some booty turtles that need some shells. The reason they didn't have shells is because I had ran out of yarn for that. And then I have shells to make pizza turtles, but the body color I need for these I don't have a lot of, so I'm not going to prioritize those. Over here in this bucket, I have my Loops and Threads yarns. So my like Sweet Snuggles Light and Chenille Home Slim. I need to actually use those. And then those are some more of the posh and non-posh dupes that I was making crochet kits with. That these are just the scraps that are for me to use, and I need to actually put them somewhere. Over here on top of my exploding stuffing, we have my Parfait Chunky, which is decently organized. And then above it are like the tinier scraps of Parfait Chunky, and I also have the Dollar Tree Just Chenille in there that I need to use. And then there's Joann receipts I need to actually file for tax purposes, and some more yarn of the Parfait Chunky. And then just a sneak peek into the closet. This is that box that I need to work through. These bags have my plushies in them that are finished, but you can see this box, like, it's fully open of all yarn, and it's packed in there pretty good. So ideally by the end of the month we'll be able to close this. That might be ambitious for 1 month, but we'll see what we can get to. So now that you've gotten a sneak peek of my way too much yarn, I have never had it be this bad. I want to say, yeah, I've been crocheting for 4 years now, and up until the Joann closure, that's what I'm blaming, I haven't really overflowed like this. So I think my plan, at least to start with, is like try to just pick a skein and finish it. So usually when I'm working, I will just grab the skeins I need, and then if my goal is to make 5, I'll make 5. If that means I need to grab another skein because I finished one, then I will. If I have this much yarn left, that's what's left. So I think we'll pivot the strategy this month to kind of just use skein till it's done. But I think the best plan to start with, as I'm getting attacked by yarn, is my tofu turtles. You saw I have a bunch of shells there. I typically make the shells first and then go in and make the heads and then make bodies, even though that's not technically the order you're supposed to do it in. But like that box right in front of me that you saw has some shells in it, so maybe I'll just have a bunch of shells sitting around at some point. But I think I'm gonna grab all of the shell colors I have. So I have 3 different variants I do typically, and then make however many shells I can, and then set those aside and not worry about finishing the bodies until later. Yeah, I think that's the game plan. And then I've got to figure out what to do with the posh and the naughty ball yarn. I mean, I've said this plenty of times where I'm going to say my focus is going to be on using the yarn I don't typically use, and then that never happens. So I think velvet is going to be my big focus. Get rid of the velvet. So I was watching Raining Charms video the other day, and she mentioned she makes her hippos out of velvet, and I was like, I have a baby hippo pattern. It's not her pattern, it's crochet with base pattern, but it's very similar. I'm like, it's gonna be a lot of hippos and some funky colored hippos, because I think I have 2 skeins of gold. I have like a maroon, a teal, a black, but they look cute in the velvet. So I guess we're making a bunch of hippos, but first I'm gonna make shells, and then probably not today, but another day this week, work on some hippos, because I do have some stuff I need to prioritize this week on making. I'll keep you updated on the yarn. Unfortunately though, this frosting, the pink frosting, I don't know if you can see it too well, as well as the green frosting that I use, I know I have another skein of both of those, which is just going to then replace behind me with what I just used. But because that box is empty. That box is really what we're focused on. And getting stuff out of boxes is the goal. Alright, I've been rambling because I feel like procrastinating and not working instead. So I'm gonna catch up with you another day. Alright, and I have now done 2 of the 3. So I realized, so right now I'm using seafoam for my base turtles. Long story, I mean to use Misty Jungle Green, but during the closure this is all I could find. But I haven't touched that yet because that's essentially a full skein. So I was able to finish off 4 and a partial of the pink, and that is completely done. And then the green, I was able to make 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And then I have this tiny bit left. So I think I'm gonna take a quick break right now, and I want to kind of inventory what is in the closet. So I think I'm going to make a spreadsheet and just write everything down. I know I have a crap ton of orange and yellow. So also I'm going to try to focus on making orange plushies this week, which right now what I have in mind are clownfish. And I'll use it for like my candy corn hats for the ghosts. But I already have candy corns left over from prior years, so I think really the only Halloween plushies I want to make this year are ghosts. And especially the hat ghosts. But I'm going to go quickly inventory in there. Hopefully not make too much of a mess, and then we'll decide what to do. This I'll probably just put on my shelf for whenever I get around to doing that again. And I think for now I'm not going to grab the next 2 frosting that are in my closet. I believe there's only 1 of each color. So for now I'm going to leave those there. So I just kind of reorganized, but also just wrote down. There's 40 skeins in the closet. Technically 41. There's a skein of velvet in there and a bag that had no label when we bought it, and it's in rough shape. I need to cake it, but I just haven't yet. So that's a lot of skeins. And the highest number was indeed orange at 8. And then there's 5 yellow. And then most everything else had 1. I do have a handful of 2s, and then I do have 3 bubbly blue, which I will go through that very quickly. It's a lot of yarn. So I think for now, what time is it? It's 5 o'clock. That is my last skein of seafoam. So yeah, I'm gonna try to crank that out. See if I can finish that skein off, and then that'll probably finish out the day. But we'll see. I did have an energy drink, so I'm wide awake now. And even though it is Labor Day currently, Henry is supposed to have the day off, but he needed to do some work. So I think I'm gonna try to work until he's done. So we'll see how late that is. I could potentially make dinner, but I'm not hungry yet, and hopefully he's not hungry yet, because I don't feel like it. But we will see how many shells we can crank out, and then those are probably going to live in my crochet backpack until I need more. I mean, I know I need some green ones, and I could use a couple more pink. I do not need beige turtles right now, but let's get that skein out of here. And then if it runs out, I'm going to pair it with Misty Jungle Green to finish off a shell and just have a 2-tone shell. So hopefully it's not going to be too big of a 2-toned. But I will get to work on that. Apologies for the terrible lighting. It is dark outside, and if I use my other light, it's going to be yellow. But there's this teeny tiny amount left, and I made, oh, I should have counted, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14 shells with that. So we are now 3 more skeins down. It is now the next day, so I decided I was going to go ahead and finish out that tiny bit of seafoam, so I'm now officially fully out of seafoam. And for some reason, Misty Jungle Green, I have 2 balls. So I'm going to finish out this small ball. It should finish out on the shell, and then we're just going to work through whatever of this I can get to make green turtle bodies. And I do have, I think, 2 skeins in the closet, but you can most definitely tell that these are different colors on the shell. I mean, maybe somebody will love it. I'll give you a close-up real quick. So I've done a couple of stitches right here, so you can kind of sort of see Seafoam versus Misty Jungle Green. But it's only 9:30, so I definitely will not focus all day on turtles again. I do have a market coming up in less than 2 weeks, probably like a week and a half now, and I have this huge list I want to get through. So these next 2 weeks are kind of sort of just get my list done, and then I think the last half of the month I'll focus on busting my stash. But I mean, making stuff is prepping for my market. Like, I do need green tofu turtles. I do still need a handful more pink. So those are on my list. And then those hippos with velvet yarn won't be a bad idea. I might do a couple of those today or this week. We'll kind of see. I tend to kind of try to do the method of make whatever I feel like making. Still kind of following the list, but I'll like look down, instead of being like, okay, next thing on my list is clownfish, I'll be like, okay, there's 20 options on this list. What sounds the most appealing to me right now? So whether that's a good plan or not, I don't know. But we'll see what we get to today. And hopefully use a lot of yarn. So far we're 3 skeins down. I mean, let's look. I am keeping track of gram usage. So yeah, just shy of 2 full Bernat skeins. So 600 grams we went through yesterday, which is great. But I'm gonna stop yapping, get to making some turtles, and hopefully be productive this week. If you saw my Labor Day weekly mix, I made so much last week, so hopefully we can keep that up this week. And also bust out some yarn, because 40 skeins in the closet is a lot. And that still isn't stopping me from wanting to buy yarn. I mean, it's also, the easiest part is it's not in the budget right now, because I've spent all of my yarn money. But that and telling myself I'm not allowed to buy yarn this month is what's holding me back. So So now I just finished, I have 9 of these green shells, so I made 9 heads, and then I have about this much yarn left. Again, there's more of this in the closet, but I'm hoping this is enough to get 3, maybe 4 bodies, and then that is just what I will bring with me or finish this week for my upcoming market, and then the rest of them I'll just put to the side. So I have this, the very popular crochet bag that was going around TikTok a while ago, but in there is just all of my shells for the beige variant, which I'm currently fully stocked on for both of my stores as well as for my markets, so I don't need any of those right now. And of course I made an entire skein of those, but Seafoam is now fully out of, I was going to say fully out of my life. I don't think I'd ever purchase it again. It's very similar to the Misty Jungle Green, and I just much prefer Misty Jungle Green. So whatever turtles I can get out of this, drop in the comments below how many bodies you think I can get out of this. This is probably, I want to guess 50 grams. Let me go measure it real quick. Oh, spot on. This is 48 grams. So comment below how many turtles you think I can finish with this, and I'll let you know what my final answer is. And it made 3 and a 1 round. So I went around once. So that means I have this partial guy, and then 5 with the heads going into my bag for later. I haven't yet decided if 3 is good enough. I'll probably go back and do more later because I have 1 for market so far, and one of my stores only has 1. So I'm gonna have so much other variety though that I'm sure I'll be fine with having, I don't know yet. But to stay on theme, I have 4 fully done shells of the pink, and then I have that 1 partial, but that partial is requiring me to grab another skein. So I think to finish out, I'll go ahead and make the 4 pink ones. I'll probably make the heads, maybe go get lunch. It is 11:30 now. So we're making decent progress, but the pink I've been using for these is not my usual pink. If you've seen my other videos, you've probably heard this rant before, where I like to use the baby pink. But of course, when the Joann closure was going down, I never really found that pink. So I grabbed a random light pink. It was one of those 600 gram skeins that it's darker than I like, but it's what I've been using. So we might not finish, it's definitely not going to finish off with these. I do really love it with the possums because the light pink I was using is a little too close to the white in the face of the possum. So this is really nice with possum, but it is very similar to the Premier Basic Chenille in the color Cotton Candy. So I think moving forward I'll just use Cotton Candy for possums. But yeah, we have so much pink. I don't know. I feel like I was just grabbing pink if I saw pink at the store. Like, I don't know what my plan was with that. So I guess we're going to have to use a lot of pink somehow. I don't know. But I'm going to make some pink turtles real quick. And I've now finished all 4 of the pink. So I have this much left still. I am not going to make it a priority right now to finish this though. Because like I mentioned earlier, I like it with possums. But in case you wanted to see, my ball just rolled away. They're not stuffed yet, but this is what my green and my pink tofu turtles look like. If you watch my weekly makes videos, these are frequently something I make for those. So those will get stuffed tomorrow, because tomorrow is Wednesday, which means it's the Summer I Turned Pretty episode, and I like to stuff while I watch that video so I can still get work done while I'm watching it, but not necessarily have to look down. So I'm going to call that good for now. So I'm gonna get back to doing my list. I mean, those did cross stuff off my list, but focus on things that aren't necessarily finishing out skeins. But I will be doing a lot more focus projects this month on busting my stash. I know for sure I will be hitting that velvet yarn. I've had it for years. It needs to go. And if I'm not going to use it, I need to sell it. And that's a lot of work. So I might as well use it, right? But thanks for watching the first installment to Stash Bust September. I hope you found it enjoyable. Let me know what projects you think I should make with what all I have, because you all saw what I do have. It's mostly the velvet, the Sweet Snuggles Light / Chanel Home Slim, and then Posh that I really need ideas on. I could make Posh is about the same size as Parfait Chunky, so maybe the plushies I like to make in Parfait Chunky, I can see how they turn out in Posh. I don't know, but thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it encouraged you to go through and bust your stash a little bit. But thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!